Hello, everyone. Thank you for joining us on this pre-4th of July presentation. Today I'm going to be talking about 2 keys to confirming winners. Now, you can apply this virtually to any method you'd like. It will really help you to filter out a lot of those trades we know that we have that are not working so well, as opposed to the ones that really are winners. For example, let's look at this couple of charts here where it perfectly illustrates what we're talking about. Here's a chart in Honeywell, okay? We have the moving average here. And as you can see, price rises above and then sells off and pulls back to roughly this moving average area where a buy signal was generated, okay? So that's basically part of the pattern we're looking at. And we see that same formation here in a weekly chart of workday where price rallies and moves away from the moving average, but then pulls back and sells off and back to the moving average, okay? This one's a weekly chart. So the same formation we see based on this same method. But ultimately, there was a difference between these two because in this particular scenario, the trade didn't work off that buy signal and it dropped 50 points where you would have had a major loss. Whereas in this scenario, where we looked at earlier in Honeywell, we had another buy signal, and this one actually did work where you could have potentially captured 18 points. So this is what we're going to be talking about today. How can we filter out a majority of those faulty or losing trades and only trade the winners? Well, there are actually 2 keys to confirming winners, and I'm going to share with you exactly what they are in today's educational presentation. And the good news is that with one click of your mouse, you can actually confirm these winning trades on our platform. The PTS Primo Charting platform, I developed this with proprietary strategies, and it actually teaches you how to trade. So welcome, everyone. Once again, my name is Stephen Primo. I'm the president and founder of Specialist Trading. And I'm happy to say that we are presenting this educational presentation right now, and we're streaming live on YouTube. So if you're interested in following us on YouTube, lots of ways you can find out when our presentations are going to air by simply hitting the subscribe button there you see on YouTube, and you'll find out more about how you can catch us streaming live or actually watching the videos. In any case, you can also hit the thumbs up button there on YouTube as well to give us a little bit of reaction as to how you like this video or not. So welcome. My name is Stephen Primo. I'm the president and founder of Specialist Trading. I've been trading now for 47 years. I started on the floor of the Pacific Stock Exchange, where I was on the floor for 16 years, and 9 of them I was a specialist. That's where we get the name Specialist Trading. A specialist simply made markets in roughly about 50 or 60 stocks. So I made markets during the crash of '87 and the bull market that followed. So after trading that, leaving the floor and managing money and teaching, I've seen and traded just about every market environment you can think of, as well as seen and traded just about every market strategy or system or trading edge you can think of. So I know what works in terms of consistency, and I know what doesn't work at all. So that's why I formalized Specialist Trading with proprietary strategies. We put this together to actually teach you how to trade with all the things I've accumulated in my nearly 5 decades of trading so that we can take your trading to the next level. And you'll see that in today's educational presentation. Now, before we begin, we're required to share this with you, so please take a moment to view our disclaimer. I'm going to show you a lot of performance results going over these 2 edges to actually confirm these winning trades, but please remember that we can in no way guarantee that any of the results I'm about to share with you will be repeated in the future. And also, since we are an educational company, all examples are strictly for educational purposes only. Now, as I stated earlier, we're streaming live on YouTube, and another way to get more information from us is to follow us on Twitter or X, however you like to title it. Every day I post 5 to 7 or 8 different snapshots of signals our methods have generated or little bits of financial wisdom. So there's lots of great free education on a daily basis. Please feel free to follow us on Twitter. Now, remember, we are first and foremost an educational company. And what does that mean? A lot of people say, well, isn't everyone an educational company? Aren't all of the webinars I attend online, aren't they all educational companies? No, actually not, because the difference is an educational company simply wants to do that, educate you. So that means that you won't see us projecting and predicting what we think the market's going to be doing or what we think the best stock is to buy or sell, or what we think the best time frame is, because that's not what a mentor or an educator does. That's what a salesman does. What we're simply trying to do is share with you the things that I've found through time, through 47 years, that actually work. And hopefully you can put them into your trading plan. We'll work with you along the way, but ultimately you will make those decisions as to whether the market's going to go up or down based on the information that I've taught you. So that's what a good mentor does. So as you can see here, my goal is not to force feed you signals, not to tell you what the market's going to do or what stock to buy or sell. My goal is simply to teach you how to trade with the specialist edge so that you can make those decisions. This is what has sustained me now, going on nearly 5 decades, the same concept my mentors taught me, and hopefully it will be able to do the same for you. Okay, a few things now before we begin. Remember, this is being recorded, so if you have to leave early or if you're having technical issues, don't worry. Each and every one of you will get a link to this recording. Also, we have a good crowd here today, so if you have any questions, please wait till the end. I promise I'll get to each and every one of your questions at the end, but I believe I have about 130 slides here today to share with you, so I don't want to stop at every slide to answer a question, or we'll be here far too long, and you'll have to start your 4th of July holiday a little bit late, and I don't want to do that. So please, if you have questions, wait till the end. I promise I'll get to them then, okay? Okay, with that stated, let's begin. We're going to be talking about, once again, 2 keys to confirming winners, right? Now, these are very important because it's been my experience that you need these 2 things to really take your trading to the next level. Now, the first key is simple. You need a better than average strategy. One of the first reasons why traders fail so much is because their strategy isn't that bad, but it's just basically kind of trading water. You'll have a number of good wins, and then it'll give it all back, and then maybe a couple of good wins, give it all back, and pretty soon after a while, you notice that you're not making any money. You're just basically trading water, okay? So you need something that has a better edge than that. So this is key number 1. We need to trade a good strategy, and the best strategy I can think of for most consistency is strategy number 4. Now, this is a method I was first taught 47 years ago on the floor of the exchange by my mentors, and I continue to use on a daily basis. I use it today, intraday trading the E-mini futures. In fact, I use these 2 key edges, and my first trade was a winner today. So I trade strategy for myself. I continue to trade it after over 4, nearly 5 decades. And let me share with you some of the highlights of this particular method. It's a pattern recognition strategy, meaning that all we're looking for is a specific pattern that repeats itself over and over again. Here's the good news. It happens in any market and in any time frame. As I said, I was using it this morning on E-mini futures, but I could have easily used it on a daily chart of Apple, or I could have used it on crypto, or maybe intraday on currency pairs. It makes no difference because this pattern doesn't know or even care what market it's in or what time frame it is. It just repeats itself over and over based on market behavior. Now, it's designed for traders looking to catch some quick momentum. When I was first trading this on the floor, we would be getting in and out of trades in a matter of minutes, but we've developed ways to stay in the trade weeks, months, or even years if you like. Now, it only uses one indicator because it's a pattern recognition strategy, and that indicator is the 50-period moving average, okay? So let's go over the first 2 rules of strategy 4. You're going to get the first 2 of the 4 rules, so you're getting half of the rules for free right now. Rule number 1 is buy and sell signals can only be entered either above or below the 50-period moving average. So what does that mean? Well, if you're looking to buy, price has to be above the 50-period moving average. You can't buy if price is below. And if you're looking to sell, by sell we mean go short. We don't mean exiting a position. We mean if you're looking to sell to go short or buy puts, you can only have a signal generated that is below the 50-period moving average. This will increase your odds for consistency tremendously. And if you don't believe me, go back and look at your last 10, 20 trades. As I always say, I can almost guarantee that the reason why you had losers was because you were buying below the 50-period moving average and selling or going short above the 50-period moving average. Should be the opposite. All right. Here's a generic example of this, okay? Price is above the 50-period moving average, so the overall trend is up. This means we will only be looking for buy signals. That's it. And if price is below the 50-period moving average, the overall trend is down. This means strategy number 4 will only be looking to generate sell signals. That's rule number 1. Now we go to rule number 2. Buy and sell signals must close in either the top or bottom 25% of their range. In other words, if you're above the 50-period moving average and you get a buy signal, that bar, that setup bar, must close in the top quarter of its range, okay? That must be rule number 2 in order for you to buy. It just can't close above the 50-period moving average, even if it closes near the low, because we're trying to catch momentum. And when price closes above the 50 and in the top 25%, that is the market telling you it wants to go higher. Now, conversely, if price is below the 50-period moving average, you want to find a bar that closes in the bottom 25% of its range. Let's look at those generic charts once again. All right, we're above the 50, so the overall trend is up. We close in the top 25%, price went up. We close in the top 25% here, price went even higher. Okay, see how you have the odds in your favor? Same thing works on the downside. Price is below the 50, so the overall trend is down. We close in the bottom 25%, and look what happens to price, okay? You see, what usually happens is people will see price below the 50 and they'll go to some chat room or some trading room, or some guy on TV will say, hey, this stock is, or this market is tremendously low. It's oversold. It's way too low. All the indicators have gone really low into to oversold territory. So you got to buy. And that usually happens somewhere around here. And then by this time, you're holding on to a losing position and just hoping and praying that you can break even, right? So what we want to do is be in sync with the overall and the short-term trend. So these are the first 2 rules that make up strategy number 4. Now you have them right now. So let's go back and look at those first 2 charts I shared with you, because those were both strategy number 4 buy signals, right? The majority of price is above the 50. Even though we've been declining, it's above the 50. And look what happened here. Even though we had 1 bar close, we immediately went back up above the 50-period moving average. So for all intents and purposes, the overall trend is still up. You need more than 1 close below. You need 3 or so closes below to tell you the trend is down. And on top of that, look what happened. We closed in the top 25% of the range. Now, I know a lot of other bars close in the top 25% of the range, but there are still 2 more rules left in strategy number 4, and those requirements were not met here at all. But they were met here. So this was a buy signal, okay? So this was a valid strategy number 4 buy signal. Closes above the 50, and we close in the top 25%. And look what happened. 18 points coming into the end of last month, June. Now let's look at that other example. Here's a weekly chart of workday, okay? Price is above the 50. It starts to decline, and that's okay, and we're still above the 50. Now, look what happened right here. We closed in the top 25%. Even though a number of these bars closed in the top, they didn't meet all of the rules, but this one did. So a valid strategy 4 buy signal is generated, okay? So let's say you would have jumped into this one, and look what happened. Well, this one didn't work out, okay? Now, remember, not every strategy signals work 100% of the time. Now, strategy 4 is an extremely consistent method, meaning that you will have losses from time to time like this one, but usually the very next signal or a couple of signals down the road, it will be able to recoup those losses. But how can we bring our edge up a little higher? How can we even avoid some of those losses? Well, this is where we come into the second key of what we're going to be teaching you today. This is where we apply key number 2, which is the PET-D, and we're going to use it as a confirmation tool. It's going to confirm the signals of strategy number 4, which ones we should take and which ones we shouldn't take. Now, how does it do this? How does it do this? Well, strategy, or I should say the PET-D, is a color bar tool that I developed with ProTrader Strategies that tells you with really strong sensitivity what the market wants to do. And the reason why it's so powerful is because usually we as traders find out a little bit too late what the market wants to do. For example, let's say we were holding on to a position of ATER, and all of a sudden we think, well, it's got to bottom out. It looks like it's making support here. And then some news comes out and it gaps down. At this point, well, we're convinced now that we're going lower, right? I mean, it stands to reason that we're going much lower because we gap down and boy, this is just a dead stop. And then look what happened. It turns right around just when we're convinced that this stock is dead and it doesn't have any buying power left in it. So how could the PET-D, which is a color bar tool, help us? Well, the PET-D colors bars either red or green. Red translating that the market wants to go lower, and green translating that the market wants to go higher. That's it. It doesn't predict how high or how low it'll go. It just tells you on a tick-by-tick basis what the market wants to do at that particular moment. So whereas we were convinced that, well, okay, now it's going lower, I guess this is just a dog stock. If we applied the PET-D on our platform, it's as simple as clicking on the PET-D tab here, and the colors automatically change. Now look at, we would have known had we used the PET-D in advance that we had consecutive red bars here telling us the market wanted to go lower. And we would have known in advance when we had consecutive green bars that the market wanted to go higher. So you see how powerful this tool is. So how are we going to use it in the capacity with strategy number 4, where we're going to apply it as a combination that we call the dynamic duo. These two keys are strategy number 4 combined with the PET-D. Now let me share with you how a dynamic duo signal works. Here are the rules for trading with a dynamic duo. If a strategy number 4 buy signal is generated, we're only going to take the trade if the signal, we're going to trade the signal, I should say, if the setup bar is colored green by the PET-D. In other words, the setup bar is that bar where all the rules and requirements have been met, and it's the bar directly above a green arrow, okay? Now, that bar, a price bar, also has to be colored or outlined green. Now, conversely, if a strategy number 4 sell signal is generated, we're only going to trade the signal if the setup bar, that's the bar where all the requirements have been made, and the bar that is now below the red arrow, if that bar is colored red by the PET-D, okay? It's either outlined or colored red. So now we have the consistency of a very, very consistent method combined with a very, very consistent color bar directional tool. So these two keys together will help us confirm many winners. That's not guaranteed. They're not going to confirm all winners, but you've just taken your edge up tremendously, and now you're elevating your trading, where now you're trading like a professional. All right, so let's go back and look at those, once again, those two trades here. This is Honeywell. We had a buy signal here. It's a strategy number 4 by itself buy signal, okay? But how should we know whether we should take it or not? Well, we click on the PET-D on our platform, and we see what the colors are. Now, in order for us to take this signal, strategy 4 signal, the bar above the arrow, the green arrow, the setup bar, should be colored or outlined green. And what color was it? It was outlined green. So this was a valid dynamic duo setup, giving you the green light to go ahead and take the trade. And look what happened. 18 points. Now let's look at the other one that didn't work out. Remember that weekly chart and workday, okay? Here's a valid strategy number 4 buy signal by itself, okay? Meets all the requirements. But in order to see if it's confirmed, we want to apply key number 2, which is a PET-D. Click on the PET-D on our platform, see how simple this is, and what color is the bar above the green arrow? That's the setup bar. It's outlined red. So remember, the dynamic duo rules state that we can only take the signal if it's a buy signal and that bar is colored or outlined green, and it's not. It's colored red, so we're not going to take that. And look how we totally sidestepped this 50-point loss. So this is the beauty, the key to confirming winners, by applying the dynamic duo of strategy number 4 along with our PET-D directional tool or color bar tool. All right, so let's look at some recent dynamic duo signals. Now that you understand the process, let's look at what happened within the last month or so, okay, that you could have taken advantage of. Remember, everything you're seeing is one click on our platform. Simply have to click on strategy 4, click on the PET-D, and you automatically know whether it is a confirmed winning trade or not. All right, let's look at ZS. All right, this is just about 2 weeks ago. Someone looking at this would say, well, Steve, we're in a downtrend, so that guy on TV told me to stay away from this stock. It's going lower. And obviously, it's been going lower for the past week, so I don't want to do anything until it breaks out. Well, this is the way most traders trade. But what is the market telling you in terms of this pattern? On our platform, click on Strategy 4, as you see here in the green Strategy tab. You'll get a drop-down menu. All you want to do is click on Signal Arrow, and that will tell you if there's a valid strategy number 4 signal there. And guess what? Right near or at the lows, there is. Now, we teach you what to look for. This is not a black box. You're just using the platform to confirm whether there was a signal there or not. But ultimately, you'll get to the point where you just automatically know if that's a valid strategy 4 signal. Now, the platform also takes into account all the rules, including strategy 4 pattern, as well as the 50-period moving average. So we don't even have to plot the 50-period moving average as we have in here, because it's already taken into account on the platform. So this is a valid strategy 4 signal, which in and of itself is a high consistency method. But if we want to take it to the next level to confirm it, we want to apply the PET-D. That will give us the dynamic duo setup. So we click on the PET-D. And what color is the bar above the green arrow? It's outlined green. So that is a valid dynamic duo signal. And the stock shot up 15 points just coming into last week. Not a bad little quick trade, right? Let's look at this example in Pepsi. Now, most traders, maybe some guy on TV would say, well, there's a base being built here, so you got to buy this stock. It's got a major Fibonacci base, and this is where all the institutions are buying, so you got to be a buyer too. I'm going to buy tons of this stock. This is the way they talk on TV. I'm a big buyer here, all right? Once again, this is why most traders fail, myself included. I used to follow the same nonsense when I was first learning, and this is silly. My mentors taught me to only follow one thing. That's the chart in front of you. So if you know the rules to this pattern, well, you say to yourself, you know what? I think I see a signal, but I just want to check my work. So I click on strategy 4. In the drop-down menu, click on signal arrow. And guess what? You're right. You properly identified a strategy number 4, in this case, sell signal. Now, once again, by itself, this is a very strong, consistent method and a very strong, consistent signal. But if we want to elevate it and take it to the next level, even higher edge in our favor, we apply the PET-D. Now, in order for us to sell, to buy puts or go short, not to exit. When we say sell, we're not exiting a trade we're already in. That's normal. I mean, you want to take a profit when you get out of a stock. But we're talking about initiating a sell position to go short or to bet against the market. So in this case, the bar below the red arrow needs to also be colored or outlined red. So let's see what the PET-D tells us. Guess what? It's red. Not only is it red, but all of these bars are red. Even this day where we bounced up and it looked like, hey, that's a big up day. You have a bullish engulfing pattern here. It's red. So the market's telling us, the PET-D is translating that the market really doesn't want to go higher. Even though we had an up day here, it still wants to go lower. So this is your valid dynamic duo sell signal. And in 3 or 4 days, it lost 10 points. Now, let's say you were long this stock. We have a number of students that actually don't like to go short or buy puts. Well, let's say you were long this stock. You could have used this sell signal as an exiting tool, and you could have saved yourself a 10-point loss. All right, here's an example in Apple. This happened just before last month. A buy signal was generated. We apply the PET-D, and we see that, yes, it's green. In fact, these 2 days where the market sold off, what color were they? These bars were green. So even though we had 2 down days, the PET-D was still saying Apple wants to go higher. That's how sensitive the PET-D is. So we have a valid dynamic duo signal here. And coming into the middle of June, Apple was up 30 points. I believe it's up even higher as we speak. Here's an example in ADSK. This is the beauty of using the dynamic duo, okay? Strategy 4 generated a sell signal. When we apply the PET-D for the dynamic duo, what color is the bar below the red arrow? It's green. So is this a signal we should be taking? No, we shouldn't be using this to go short. So we don't take that signal. And look what happened in the following week. Sure, it went kind of sideways to down a little bit, but we really would not have made any money. In fact, had we held on, we would have had a loss right here. But look what happens. This is what we mean by consistency and what we were talking about strategy 4 being a very consistent method. If you were just trading strategy 4 by itself, well, sure, if you would have taken the signal, you would have most likely had a loss. But look what happened on this day. It would have said, well, it's time to switch and reverse, and you have a valid strategy 4 and a valid PET-D confirmation. And look what happened, 27 points. So you could have made back what you lost on this trade with the next one. But the beauty of the dynamic duo is you never would have taken this trade because it kept you out by having the bar below the red arrow green. Here's an example. I'm sorry, that was, I thought that was, I was saying Apple a couple of times. That was ADSK. Now, as we look at ISRG, intuitive surgical, we see we have a sell signal here, okay? Meets all the requirements of a strategy number 4 sell signal. And it was also colored green by the PET-D. So these two keys are not confirming each other. Therefore, you're not taking this trade either. And in the next week, you would have seen, boy, I saved myself a lot of money because these two keys kept me out of that trade. But now we see here that all the requirements have been made for another strategy number 4 buy signal. On top of that, it was confirmed by the PET-D. So we have these two keys in sync with each other, and you could have potentially captured 48 points in ISRG coming into the end of last month. Here's an example in Dash, okay? Now, this is what we mean by consistency, where not every trade works out, but if you continue to get back up again, so many traders like to sulk in the corner, but if you get back up and go on to the next one, many times you'll be able to recoup what you lost. For example, we had a valid dynamic duo buy signal here. We have a strategy 4 buy with the green arrow, and the bar is outlined green. So this is a valid signal to take. But look what happened. You would have lost 4 points using one of our standard stop placements, which we teach you in the course. But that's okay because you got another signal. This time it was a valid dynamic duo sell signal. You see, both these methods are extremely sensitive. And not only did strategy number 4 change because all of a sudden the pattern changed and now it says time to go short, but on top of that, the PET-D changed as well. The PET-D went back to red bar and said, listen, this is a valid confirmation of a dynamic duo setup. So you would have taken the loss here. And we urge our students to get back on the horse because had you taken this sell signal, you could have potentially captured 22 points in the next month. So you would have easily made back that 4 that you lost and been able to capture potentially 22 points. This is what we mean by consistency. Consistency is an awareness that you will have losses from time to time. That is perfectly okay. I lose all the time, but I'm confident because I know most likely I'll make it back very soon. That's what you want in a trading method. So many so-called educators promise the world with a method that will have you retiring or being wealthy within the next year. And most of those type of methods do have some winners here and there, but usually they give it all back. That's not what you want because that's not consistency. Consistency is a nice, slow upward slope in your profit and loss statement. Not something like a roller coaster where you're going straight up, making tons of money, and then going straight down, giving it all back, and now you're losing it all. That's not trading, that's more gambling. Longevity is with a method that's very consistent, and that's what you want to be trading. All right, let's look at this example in VRSK. All right, we have a valid dynamic duo setup. We have a strategy 4, the first key, and we have the green outline, the second key. And look what happened. It was a losing trade. This is what we're talking about. Not everything works 100% of the time. Using one of our generic stop placements, once again, we teach you all of these in the course, you would have most likely lost 5 points here. But look what happened 3 days later. A buy signal was generated, and it's a valid dynamic duo confirmation buy signal. So time to get back up there, and look what happened. 25 points. You easily could have recouped that 5-point loss and potentially captured upwards of 20 more. All right, let's look at CDW. Here's another example of consistency, all right? A sell signal was generated here. Let's see if the second key confirms it. Nope. We apply the PET-D, and what color is the bar below the red arrow? It's green. So we're not going to take this trade. And the next 2 bars, it didn't really do anything. It went up, but then right back down. But look at this setup. This is another strategy 4 signal, and it is colored red. So now you have your 2 keys to confirming a winner. And look what happened. 28 points you could have potentially captured in just 1 day. This is what we mean by consistency and sticking in with it, okay? So the beauty of the dynamic duo is that it will filter out a lot of these losing trades, but get you back into the winning ones. Now, here's an example in crowd, CRWD, a winning setup right here. The two keys were together and potentially could have captured 52 points just coming into a couple of weeks ago. Here's another example in MDB. We have a sell signal confirmed here, the two keys of strategy 4 along with a red bar. And look what happened, 135 points coming into mid-June. Now, obviously, once again, as I always say every week, some news came out where this was told to, open up much lower. The specialist in New York opened up the stock roughly about 50 to 75 points lower. Isn't it funny how a full week in advance, these two keys confirmed a winning trade based off market behavior, not based off any fundamental news, any information that has to do with the company or economically. It's all based on the chart in front of you in this pattern that repeats itself over and over again. Here's a weekly chart of CEG, okay? The price is basically going sideways on weekly time frame, but we had 3 confirmed dynamic duo buy signals. Sometimes it takes a little bit for it to set up and for it to really take off. But look what eventually happened. This was in CEG, and ultimately coming into last month or a couple of months, it was up 120 points. Here's another weekly chart. This one was in Lulu. Now, we had a buy signal generated here, but it was colored or outlined red. So we wouldn't have taken it or invested in this weekly chart because it didn't fit the requirements, 2 keys to confirming a winning trade. And look what happened. It went sideways and then a big down bar. But this down bar generated the 2 keys to confirming a sell. We have a strategy 4 sell signal, key number 1, and key number 2, the PET D confirmed it with a red bar. Look what happened. Stock fell over 100 points coming into a couple of months ago. This is also on a weekly time frame. Okay, so let's go through the process. We can try daily bars, weekly bars. Let's even try this same process on a monthly bar. Nothing changes because we're changing markets or time frames. We see here a monthly bar of Costco. Stock is kind of doing nothing, drifting sideways to going higher. This is going back to 2023, roughly, okay? But we think that we see a strategy number 4 buy signal, or maybe even more. So we want to check our work, click on strategy 4. Even though it may appear a sideways market, strategy number 4 doesn't care. In the drop-down menu, click on signal arrow. And yes, we have 2. We had one here in 2022 and another one in 2023. Now, nothing much has happened. Like I said, once again, strategy 4 is designed to identify momentum. But sometimes it identifies this momentum before anything really takes place. That's okay. As long as you're not stopped out, it's okay to still stay in the trade if you want. If you don't want to type your money, then sure, maybe you can get out unchanged. But it would have been wiser to stay in because guess what? Had you clicked on the PET D, key number 2, well, you would have seen that those were both valid dynamic duo buy signals. And ultimately, just about a year ago, it kicked in. And as we all see now, coming into this last month, you could have potentially captured on a monthly chart close to 400 points. This is all without knowing about what the company does or any of the economic news about the company or earnings or anything of that nature. Why? Because the market, the chart was telling you in advance it wanted to go higher by using key number 1, strategy 4, and key number 2, the PET D. Okay, let's recap what we taught you today. The first thing you want to do is apply this strategy that I've been using for nearly 5 decades. It's based on a pattern that repeats itself over and over again. You can apply it to any market, any time frame. And we teach you all the rules in the course. It's not black box system. It's an actual strategy that you will know the rules from like the back of your hand. But then when you combine that with key number 2, which is the PET D, which is our directional tool, you automatically have this synergy for success because you have these very highly consistent edges and techniques together, and they together form what we call our dynamic duo. Now, the dynamic duo is one of our most popular trading packages we have at Specialist Trading and Pro Trader Strategies because students around the world use this in over 115 countries and in every state in the United States. That's how popular this is because it's such a great product. And then lastly, we make it simple to apply the dynamic duo. Not like when I first had to apply it on the floor where I had to have a hand calculator and I had to be checking almost every tick and making sure that everything was in place. We made it simple when we developed the PTS Primo charting platform because all you have to do is just click on one click on your platform, you see strategy 4, click another one, and you see the PET-D color bars. So ask yourself, what I've shown you today, do you think these 2 keys can help your trading for the remainder of 2024? If you can believe it, we're already halfway through 2024. So if you haven't seen the type of results you were promised by some other method you purchased, or even by your own strategy that you developed, do you think these 2 keys can really take your trading to the next level? I think they can. I think you can finish out 2024 strong. So because of that, we have a great attendee discount for all of you watching us today on YouTube and in this webinar. We're going to offer you our dynamic duo special, which is strategy 4 along with a PET-D. Okay, you're going to get instant course access and detailed instruction. Remember, these are not black boxes. You're going to understand exactly how to apply everything, where to enter, different ways in which to enter, different ways in which to exit, different ways in which to place your stop. And you'll get the automatic buy and sell arrows, the complete course rules. Now, one of the best things along with this is that the PET-D is not just used in one capacity. There are literally dozens of ways in which to apply the PET-D. We're going to share with you 4 more trading techniques, how you can use the PET-D as a standalone trading tool as well. That's also included in the course. This all comes with educational correspondence from yours truly. Now, we saw here that with one click, you could just simply see where everything was on the PTS Primo charting platform. So we also want to include a full year of the platform. Now, if you decide to sign up very quickly with a limited time only, we will throw in a full year, 12 months, a $1,765 value, absolutely free. You'll get a full year absolutely free if you decide to become a member of the Dynamic Duo course. So you saw how simple it was on our platform. With one click, you could see where the strategy number 4 signals were. With one click, you could see where the PET-D color bars were. But you'll also get auto-generated exit levels, a strength of trend trading tool to tell you if there's more gas left in the tank for the trend to go higher or lower. 90 of the most prominent technical indicators, along with dozens of more tools and techniques that I can't really talk about right now because there's just too many. Things that you won't find anywhere else except on our platform. These are things I've accumulated in my nearly 50 years of trading that you'll only find on the PTS Primo charting platform. Here's one of the best things about the platform. You'll be able to actually scan for these dynamic duo signals on a nightly basis and intraday if you'd like as well. For example, you don't just have to use this with stocks. Let's say you're a currency pair trader. Well, you could have scanned and seen that there was a couple of dynamic duo signals, valid dynamic duo signals on a 4-hour chart of the dollar-yen. This was just going back a couple of weeks ago. On the 17th, it generated 2 buy signals based on the strategy 4 pattern, and they were both highlighted green on the bar. And if you're a currency pair trader, this would have been a great way to trade because look what happened in the next week or two. Up potentially 350 pips. That's close to $3,500 per unit you could have potentially captured if you held on to this one trade. Or let's say you were an investor in gold, okay, XAU USD. Well, you could have scanned on a weekly time frame on the platform. You'll only be able to do this on our platform, and seen that there was a valid dynamic duo signal where these 2 keys are combined on the 16th of February. This is going back to February, about 4 months. Guess what? You could have ridden that nice rally we had in gold all the way up until mid-May. Or something that just happened about a week ago. This was in PANW, okay? Palo Alto Networks. Once again, you could have scanned for this. A valid dynamic duo buy signal was generated on the 21st of June, just a couple of weeks ago, and it was outlined green. So you could have taken advantage of this trade and in just 4 days, potentially captured 25 points. I know you go to a lot of webinars and you see these amazing setups and signals, but if you look at the date, a lot of them are like maybe a year or 2 old. This just happened a couple of weeks ago, and many of the examples I shared with you happened within the last month or the last week. This is how consistent the dynamic duo is. This is why I continue to trade it on my own on a daily basis and when I trade intraday. Now, 2024 is halfway over, as I stated earlier to yourself. You owe it to yourself to finish the year off strong and in the right direction. okay? Take charge of your own trading. I know so many traders rely on someone or something else to tell them what to do. You're going to learn all the rules. You're going to learn exactly how to trade the dynamic duo, and you'll make your own decisions. You won't have to rely on a signal service. You won't have to rely on going to some chat room to see what this guy does every day or listening to them on TV. For the first time, you'll know what it's like to take charge of your own trading, okay? Finish the year off strong and in the right direction with the dynamic duo course. All right, let's break it down, okay? We're throwing in strategy 4, the PET D, along with 4 PET D trading techniques, along with a full year free of the platform, okay? Now, if you just purchase these separately, strategy number 4 would cost close to $700. If you purchase the PET D separately, that would cost close to $5,000. And as we shared with you earlier, if you just purchased a year of the PTS Primo charting platform, that would cost you over $1,700, close to $1,800. So altogether, you would be spending close to $7,500. Don't worry, I'm not going to ruin your July 4th week holiday here by saying we're going to reduce this down to $7,200. No, we're going to give you a great, great offer here. Because of our association with all of you and because of you attending, well, we're going to offer you the Dynamic Duo package for $497, a one-time payment, and just establish a payment plan of $97 per month. That's it. For less than $500, you can be up and running as early as today and just have a $97 monthly payment. Now, this has taken me decades and decades to get across to people and to help and to teach people around the world. And we've never had a lower price than this for the Dynamic Duo, along with a full year of the platform. So this is a great way to start off the holiday, to start off July 4th, to start off with your own trading independence and really take advantage of your trading. Now, if you'd like to pay in full, well, we'll drop the price down from $74.55 down to $49.95. You're still saving close to $2,500. That's almost like a 30% discount, okay? Either way, if you want to pay in full $49.95 or the one-time payment of less than $500, $497 with a $97 monthly payment, you still get a full year free of the platform. Either way you decide to go. Here's how you take advantage of this great, great offer. Contact Pro Trader Strategies. They're my sister site in charge of all the discounts, in charge of all the tech support. I would highly suggest giving them a call at this number right here, 310-598-6677. They have trading consultants managing the phones right now. They would be more than happy to take your order over the phone or to just give you some more information about tech support or what else is offered on the platform or anything else you'd like to know about actually trading on the platform, okay? Now, you see that link below. That's the link that will take you to the info as well as sign up page. It's not a live link, but if you go to the chat box, that little chat icon, click on, and you will see that a link has been posted. So you can simply click that on and you'll be able to see the link there, okay? I'm going to leave all this information up here. We are at the end of the presentation. If you have any questions, please write them down, go to the chat box or the question and answer box. I'll answer them right now to the best of my ability. Someone is asking, let's see, is there any way we can trade this with a longer time frame? Well, I mean, you could perfectly trade this with, I would say, a yearly time frame. I'd say if you want to, but we showed you monthly charts. We also showed you weekly charts. We showed you daily. We also showed you intraday 4-hour charts. So it really makes no difference. This pattern repeats itself over and over again in any market and in any time frame. So it really doesn't care what it's looking at or what time frame. So sure, it doesn't matter. If you're an investor, I know a lot of our students are investors. They're not actually traders. Well, they can use this on a yearly chart if you like, okay? You won't get as many signals, obviously, because each bar represents a year, but you still will get a lot, okay? We have students around the world that love our products, that love everything we teach and have. So I just want to say thank you to all of them. We have a lot of people giving us some nice compliments today. Let's see. Does this come with what happens after the year? Oh, well, after the year, you will still, in other words, the strategy 4 and the PET D does not expire after the year. That is yours to keep forever. The only thing that expires after the year is the 12 months of the platform. So with the 12 months of the platform, you can renegotiate with ProTrader Strategies. They're very flexible, and I'm sure they give you a great deal because you're most likely a good customer now and you're happy with the product. And I would say that the majority of our students that are first-time users of the platform always re-sign for another year or two, because that's how powerful it is, and that's how much it can really help you. So this is great. It's a great offer, probably one of the best deals we have. This is, less than $500, a great way to start the holiday week. And here's the best thing about this. We have such a great tech support department. You can be up and running as early as today. This is not something where you have to wait for something to be shipped to you or something to be sent in the mail. Our tech support will take care of you today, and you can be up and running and set up, and you can start learning all of the rules and seeing all of the examples as early as today. So another one of the great perks and advantages to signing up right away, okay? Any other questions? If I have trouble, is there a contact number? Yes, there actually isn't a contact number. If you have trouble, in other words, setting up, if you have trouble setting up the package, don't worry, our tech support will be there. You'll have their number. But if you're saying, if you have trouble understanding the process, if you're new to trading, each and every one of my students gets my personal email address. You can contact me whenever you like. So if you have a question about strategy 4, you just want me to check your work, or if you have a question about the pattern, maybe you're not sure you understand the pattern, it's very simple, but once it takes a while to get, but once you see it, you'll see it all over the place. But even if you're having trouble with that, you can always contact me via email, and I'll answer your questions prior to the opening, after the close, during the market hours, or even on the weekends, okay? So I'm always there with you. If you ever have a problem, I'll always be there for you to contact. Good questions. Any more? I just want to say thank you to all of our students around the world. We have students, around the world in every country, in over 115 countries, in every state, I should say, in the United States. And thank you so much for being part of our community. And thank you so much for actually still staying in contact with us, because as we said, we've turned traders around for being inconsistent for years to finally becoming consistent for the very first time. And I just want to say, it makes us really feel happy to know that a lot of you still stay in contact with us, because our goal is not to, force feed you signals and not to have you stick with us, and so that you have to make sure that you come to our website every day to find out what to do. We're the exact opposite of that. What we want to do is give you the information, work with you so that you never have to contact us anymore. While you're learning, you can contact us as much as you like, but once you understand it, you can leave the nest and finally take charge of your own trading. That's my goal as a mentor, and I'm happy to say we've done that for literally hundreds, if not thousands, of students around the world, okay? Okay, if there are no further questions, as we close now and take one last look at our disclaimer, firstly, make sure to give them a call at 310-598-6060 if you have any questions after this presentation. They're more than happy to answer any question. There's no obligation, so don't feel that you have to purchase anything. They'll be happy to answer a question and work with you, or give you a quote if you like as well, okay? So now, as we take one last look at our disclaimer, thank you so much for attending. I really hope you learned something about how we really want to teach you and make you become a consistent trader, and how these 2 keys can help you confirm these winners in any market and in any time frame, okay? As we close, I wish you all a great holiday, a safe and happy July 4th, and I look forward to all of you in our Dynamic Duo course. Thank you so much. Have a great day off tomorrow. I'll see you next time. Bye-bye.